Howdy, partner. So you want to learn how to install Armstrong Woodhaven ceilings? Well, you're in luck. I'm going to show you today. Today, we're working on a really neat project covering our ceiling here with these Armstrong Woodhaven brand ceiling panels. Now, these come in different colors. This is called rustic pine, but they have them in white and different shades of brown and cherry and bamboo and all sorts of stuff. And it's a system that's actually some sort of particle board that is finished with, I don't know, wood veneer or something. And it has tracks, and it's supposed to be pretty easy to give this ceiling a nice refresh. So we're excited to check that out. And we're gonna walk you through step by step how to do it. So never used this product before, not sponsored by Armstrong. So we'll see how it does, and I'll give you a full review. First thing you gotta do is figure out how you're gonna do your space. And then once you figure out, okay, I'm gonna do the ceiling in this room, you're going to go ahead and figure out which way your joists run. Because we have these tracks that I'm gonna show you in just a minute, and the tracks have to get screwed into the joists. So first steps first, figure out the joist. Step 2 is gonna be to remove any lighting or ceiling fans in the room that you're gonna need. I'm leaving it up for now because I wanna be able to see what I'm doing, but then I'm gonna take it out and bring in some extra light. So to find your joists, you don't know if they're gonna run this way or that way. Maybe you can figure out in your house. I thought they ran the opposite way, they did not. This is how they're running. So you can take any sort of stud finder. I'll go ahead and try to link one in the product description. And you will go along until you get an alert. So right here was an alert. I already cheated and did this. But once you find that, you should mark it with a piece of tape. And then to make sure you're right, go ahead and drill a little hole in it. And you can see if you hit wood. We hit wood, so I know that's gonna be a joist. And then you can test it some more with your stud finder, depending on how much luck you're having. You might have a little trouble with the ceiling texture, but generally speaking, your joist should be about 16 inches on center. So you can measure out 16 inches, put more pieces of tape up, and then you can go ahead and drill some pilot holes to make sure that you're having luck. Now we did pretty well at the edges. We kind of got thrown off. So if you get thrown off, you have to drill a couple extra holes. Just patch them up if you want. You're gonna be doing a lot of holes in the ceiling anyways, and we're gonna get started. So we've got this all laid out. We figure out where our studs are. One thing you can do is do a chalk line. We're not gonna do that because I don't have a chalk line on me today, but you can go ahead and just get these marked up, and then we're gonna show you how to install those tracks. So stay tuned. We're gonna take down this light. We're gonna get the room prepped, and we're gonna jump right into this. This is gonna be a fun project. Your Armstrong planks are gonna come with a detailed instruction manual. And in that manual, you want to take a look, go ahead and read the instructions, make sure that it's being done right, because Mr. Greg's doing it, but this is probably the best way to do it. But in the bottom corner here is going to be some math equations. And this is pretty tricky math, but they make it really easy by listing it out. So you want to measure the width of your room, and then you're going to go ahead and divide by 5, multiply by 5, add 5, divide by 2, and that tells you the edges of your border. So if you just get one measurement, you take it step by step, and that'll get you started. So we want to go ahead and cut that first one so that it'll fit just right once we get the tracks up. Now we're going to start hanging the tracks. When it comes to hanging the tracks, you want the first row to be about 2 inches from the wall, and then you can go up to 24 inches apart. It says I'm going 18 inches, so I'm just measuring 18 inches from the screw. And then what I'm doing, I'm putting this up against the wall. And we put up against the wall, I'm then taking a 1 5/8 inch drywall screw on my marker. And I'm going to tap in one screw. Right there. Now I'm not trying to over tighten it or bend the track. We're just going to hold these up, and then we're going to finish all these out, put a screw in every joist to hold it nice and heavy, or nice and steady, because that ceiling is pretty heavy. You want to get a good grip. And then we're going to finish the other side. Now for the other side, we'll show you, you don't have to cut them if you don't want to. You can go ahead and do a whole one and just only use one track. So stay tuned. This is coming together. We've now gotten both sets up. We really could have cut these. We don't need to overlap them that much, but it was easier to just overlap them, and we had enough to do this whole room because it came in a 20 pack. So now what we're doing is, you see that shim there? Well, basically, you want to take a laser level, or sorry, not a laser level, just a straight level. You're going to hold it up against your track without the screw there, and you're going to see if it's level. And if it's not level, which is pretty important, you want to go ahead and shim it until it is level. So what you can do is you can back out, sorry about the shakiness, you can back out some of those screws, and then you can go ahead and insert shims, and you figure out how much of a shim you need. Double check it with the level, and then once you get that there, then what you're going to do is go back and tighten in your screws back against the shim. Then you're going to take your level and double check it. You're going to want to do it all the way along and make sure you're perfectly straight, because this ceiling, for instance, is not straight. So to get a nice finished look, we're going to have to shim that one as well. It is now time to start hanging the ceiling on the tracks. So you got to make that cut on the tongue side of the first row based on that calculation that we did earlier. Did that and already did one half. Now we're doing the other half. So we also made a cut over here. So what they're saying is you can either put a screw to hold that first one up, just sort of to keep it up until you get baseboard or something else holding it, or you can do a finishing nail as sort of a ledge. We opted to do the finishing nail, but either way is fine. So I already went up there and I measured where the finishing nail needs to be based on how thick that wood's going to be. And then I'm just going to tap it in. It doesn't need to go all the way in. It's basically just giving the piece of wood something to rest on, since there's no tongue groove for this first one. So you're going to go ahead and take this, get it lined up correctly, and then, as we damage the new wallpaper, you're going to put this up here, feed it into the other one on the tongue groove, rest it on that finishing nail, and then we're going to slide the clips. I'm going to give you a close-up on these clips and how they work, but I'm going to slide those in, and if you did your calculations correctly, we should have, which we do, about 3/4 of an inch of clearance on this side. So we got the first one up, the next ones are going to sit in here and go on in. Stay tuned, it's about to get fun. It's going real fast. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you how these actually fit in here. And the trick is to put a bunch of these clips up ahead of time so that once you get it up there, you can kind of just push the clips forward, which it makes it a lot easier. So you want to kind of line those up. I'll show you a close-up in just a second how that goes. But to put this piece in, so you're going to make sure you have it in the right direction in terms of where the tongue groove are, but this tongue piece is going to fit into this groove, and then you want to make sure you have an opening on this side or a tongue on this side so it can fit in the next piece. So meaning if you had cut one side, that needs to go against a wall. So what you do is kind of put it up here, and you're going to get it right lined up. You want to make that space over on the wall so it has some room to expand and contract. And then you're going to start, let's start one side and sort of feed it in to that groove. And you're going to push it, and it'll tightly fit in there. And then you want to take those clips and push them in. And remember, you got to get at least 2 clips on all the wood. Make sure you have clearance over there, here, and here. Make sure we push it all the way. It's that easy. So we're just knocking through the whole ceiling, and let me show you how these clips work. So as you can see here, we put 3 clips on this one. This is where we have one of the old rows next to one of the new rows on the supports. As long as there's 1/8 of an inch in between, it'll work. But basically the clip is just a small piece of metal, and you want to put it the right direction so that the wood can fit into here and sort of rest in that saddle there. And then you're going to start on one side, and you just put it up, and then you just push with your thumb, and it snaps in, and then it will go ahead and slide. You could probably wear gloves, they're a little sharp, but you know, that's your choice. We made it to the last row, and you're going to do the same cut if you did your calculations correctly on the last row as you did on the first row. And then when you get it up there, you want to kind of get that tongue fit in, and this one's fitting really tight, so there's a little space here and space on that side, but I mean the tongue groove is tight where it's holding itself. However, you want to do the same thing with either that finishing nail or a screw just to hold up this ledge. So I'm going to put one screw here. All right, and I think we are about done other than trimming it. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall light, trim it up, and then we'll talk about everything we thought about this project. Well, we are all done with this project, and it looks fantastic. Hope you enjoyed the whole walkthrough from beginning to end. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Mr. Greg's How To. I'll show you a close-up of it right here. And you can see that it came out really, really, really nice all the way around the room. Let's have a very nice finished product. We're going to go ahead, like I said, and touch up the paint on the new crown molding we put up there, and then we'll be good to go. A couple things about this project. It was fairly difficult. Definitely, you know, if you follow the instructions, you can probably do it even if you're an amateur, but it wasn't easy. It took me a full, long day's work, so, you know, it depends on how much time you got. Take your time. Also, if you have a helper, it'll be really good to have 2 or maybe 3 people because you're doing a lot of cuts and you're having to carry these long boards and it's pretty heavy. But all in all, really a great system they have. I like the tracks, I like the clips, I like everything. And if you like this video, go ahead and at the bottom right, hit the subscribe button so you can check out more home how-to. And I also appreciate the likes. That really helps us out. So hit that thumbs up, hit that bell, and be sure to comment and give me your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and remember, you can too.